Just woo, woo. I swear. Good morning. Hello, 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 and welcome to Bima's Crafty Corner. I am Bima, better known as Els, and this is a completely free Build a Journal 101 class. We're going from start to finish building a journal together. And, we're working out some different ways. Hello. Hi. I just gave you breakfast. You cannot be hungry. You just can't be. I'm going to mess with you. I'm going to touch the ends of your whiskers. Yeah, just mess with your sonar. Oh my God. Hello. Yeah, you're not. No, I just gave you just had breakfast, honey. You little fatty. You little fatty boy. You just had breakfast, my bubbles. You just had breakfast. Oh, you're just up here to knock over glue? Okay. You just up here to knock my shit over because I put everything in baskets and you can't play with it anymore? Yeah, I know. I'm cruel. I'm mean. I'm a mean mommy. I know. I'm sorry. I buy you all these toys to play with and you just no, you want to play with craft supplies, right? Yeah, like I could get you the best climbing house on the planet and you'd want the box. I know you. Good morning, Miss Marjorie. Hello, Chris. How are you, my dear? Yeah, if you're going to be up here, I'm going to give you smoochy face. Yep, kitties on the desk get smoochy face. That's what they get. Yeah, smoochy face. Lots of smoochy face. Here we go. Lots more smoochy face. Yep. Oh, we're going to get cheeky smooches too. Yeah. I'm going to give you some cheeky smooches. Ready? Here they come. No, that's what you get. You get smoochies. You're going to lick your feet. Get down. Go on. Get. Scram. Go. Hi, Marie. Hello, Christine. Get down. You got to go. Come on. Go. Go. Get down. Yeah, that's a knee. Use it. Let's go. Oh, fine. Don't use it then. Okay. Let me pick all this mess up that he made. He's such a messy kitty. Comes up here, he knocks everything over. Just annoying. Okay. We're kind of waiting for everybody to show up because I don't want to get started without everybody here. But let's take a look. Make sure that those that are participating have everything that we need for today. So we are on week 3. We'll review week 1 and 2 in a second. But for week 3, you are going to want some cardstock. This is just plain 65-pound cardstock. It doesn't even matter what color it is, okay? If you've got some that matches the color of your book, fantastic. If you don't, use white and ink. You know what I mean? Your designer papers or digitals, you're going to want those today, okay? You're going to want adhesive. I recommend for this that you use tape and glue. And if you have a glue stick, have it on hand because some things you want it for. A paper trimmer that can handle the size of your paper and that can handle the size of the journal that you're making. If you're using a book and you've, gutted a book, I can't tell you what size and the dimensions are for it. If you're using the book kit that I offered for the class, it needs to be able to cut 8.5-inch tall pieces of paper. Okay? Because that's the height that you're using. An ink and a dauber for that aforementioned white cardstock. Or, if you're just an inker. A corner rounder is helpful here. Some laces and trims also in addition to these things. And I didn't get this one on the list, but, the things that we normally use. You're going to want a ruler, preferably a metal one, a craft knife if you have one, a hole punch. If you don't have these things right now, that's okay, because you can come back and watch the video later. But, you know, we want all of our regular supplies, scissors, all that, okay? Even the clips, you probably are going to want those at some point for something, okay? So that's everything, you know, basically for today. And making sure nobody came in and slipped in that I didn't see. We're going to review the last 2 weeks. So in the last 2 weeks, we've done 2 very important parts of this. In week 1, we talked about covers. We gutted a book and ended up with a book block. This is not the one that goes to this book. That one is over there someplace. But we went through and we gutted this, built up the spine on it, and then we used some wallpaper from the Dollar Tree to line the inside of it to make it pretty. It's now pretty. And the other one we did was from the kit that you can get for this class, where we built a book from scratch, a book cover from scratch. So it came with the 3 pieces of book board, the spine, the 2 outside edges. It came with the book cloth pre-done for the inside. It came with clips and came with your needle and your thread that you're going to use to stitch in your signatures. It even came with some papers and things like that. And that was in week 1. We built it. I showed you how to cover it, how to put your book, your page, you know, your end pages in, how to do the inside, you know, of your book if you used a ripped down book. Okay. So in week 2, we talked about papers and signatures, and we built 2 signatures. Now I did build 3 because I may have a third. I don't know. Well, welcome. Carla. Hi, baby. So in week 2, we built signatures. We talked about, you know, the papers that you can get and the papers that you can use and how to get them all where you want them and how to trim them down so that they're correct. This one is a mess. I got to fix it. We talked about other papers that you can use. So we talked about things like papers that were shorter. We talked about ones that don't go all the way to the edge. We talked about, you know, how to fix scrapbook paper so you can use that if you want to use some scrapbook paper and make it so it's not blaringly white. We talked about using paper sacks and how you can add those in to your, you know, signatures. And that's why we did the 3rd signature. We're going to get that one real quick. We talked about other things like adding in an envelope and how to hide it in there, because we'll find it. It's in here. I know it is. There it is. So we put in an envelope, and we're going to talk about, you know, in the course of this, we'll talk about how to, you know, fix this and how to turn it into a pocket if you want to use it as a pocket instead of just using it this way. But we talked about how to get that in a way that it doesn't really show. Now, I did realize that there was one thing that I neglected in doing the pages. I forgot to show you. So I'm going to show you that part real quick, just so that everybody has it. And then we'll get on to today's stuff, okay? So let's see. So I'm going to grab one of these. Okay. So let's say you have like a pad. Now this one's really big, so you could just fold it in half and put it in if you want to. But let's say you want to turn this back into a signature page. Well, first off, find out how long it is. This one is 8¼ inches, and we need our signature pages to be no more than 5½. So we're going to go ahead and cut off the open inside edge at 6 inches. I know, seems weird, but we're going to do that. We're going to cut this one off at 6. Let me grab mine. Always make sure your blade is sharp here. And make sure that the ruler that you're using is metal, because if it's plastic, your razor, your craft knife can actually cut and chip into it. And over time, it's not going to be, accurate. So metal, and preferably one that says no skid on it. So I'm going to cut this to 6 because I want it to be 5½. So keep those because you can use them in a pad later. But I still have 2 pieces of paper, and I need to have 1 full page to put it in as a signature. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler and anything that I can use to score this. I'm going to use a scoring tool, but you don't have to. You can put this in a scoreboard if you want. You want to score to 1/2 inch. And once you have it scored, kind of fold it up, because you want that line to be very visible. All right. Now we have a 1/2 inch piece here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put glue or tape. Doesn't matter. For this, I'm going to use, do I have 1/2 inch tape out? I do not. Well, we'll use this one just so you guys can see. So we're going to put tape here. And we do need this to be, the whole thing, but we'll do the rest of it with glue. And then I'm going to cut this off. Screw it. We'll do 2 pieces of tape. So you're going to put your tape or whatever your adhesive is inside that fold. You don't want to go over the fold line. Okay. Now, if you want more in-depth of this, you can find that in the Make a Little Golden book with me, okay? Now, whenever you use this kind of peelable tape, go over it with your bone folder or the scissors or whatever you have, because you want to make sure that it's stuck well before you pull this part up. And you can use your fingernail to pull it up, or you can use pokey tool or whatever. So just pull up that top piece, the casing. And then what you're going to do is you're going to line this, put this back where it came from. Just like that. Okay. Get that out of there. Now you have this little 1/2 inch. Glue this down. Okay. It doesn't matter what side you glue it on. Just glue it down. We're going to see if we can get this to work. There we go. Glue is coming. It is getting out of the bottle slowly but surely. Okay. Glue it down and press it. Now you can hide this by adding washi tape later, but the truth is it's so in the middle of the book that 9 times out of 10 you're not going to see it. Okay. So now I've taken those 2 pieces of separate paper and turned them into 1 piece of signature paper. That we can now add into our signature, and it's inside of our 5½ inch. Okay. So I didn't cover that one in, the paper class, but I wanted to make sure in the signature class, but I wanted to make sure everybody knew it. Again, you can find a really good diagram of doing that in the little golden book. Build a book with me. Hello, Vanessa. $83 degrees and beautiful here in Kansas. I'm glad to hear that because that's where we're moving to. From Las Vegas to Kansas, right? All right. So today we're going to be working on making some pockets. We're going to start with the very basic pockets, and then we're going to work our way up. Another thing that might be helpful here, if you have it, and I didn't get it on the list, and these are all things because we're working on this. These are all things. If you have a scoreboard, this is a helpful tool. Doesn't matter if you have a little one or you have a big one, okay? But a scoreboard is helpful here. I will say this, whenever you're doing paper craft of any kind, a scoreboard is a friend. A lot of people ask me why I have a blue line down the center of my scoreboard, and I have a line on my big one too. That is just so that I can see where that line is without having to like go, oh, is it this? Where is it? Oh, is this the right one here? I know exactly which line this is, okay? So when I have to make a line, and I don't know if this set has any. Let me look. Yeah, here. So when you buy like your ephemera packs, you know, your digital packs, sometimes you get these that are pockets that have these little gussets on them. And if you want to use the gusset, the easiest way to do that is to be able to put it on here and be able to see the line at the top and the bottom so you know exactly where you're scoring at so that you get a straight score line. Okay. So if you can match up the 2 points and the line comes through here and here, then you know that you have it. So that's why I have a line on my scoreboard. People ask that all the time, but that's why it's there. And that's because not always is this an exact measurement. This little flap, like this one here is 3/8 of an inch. So yeah. And the one at the bottom is 3/8. And this one over here is actually shy of 3/8. This one's not as wide as this one. And this one is way shy of 3/8. This one is almost a full 1/2 inch. So it's always a different measurement. So having a line on there is just a helpful thing. That's just from me to you. So probably one of the most basic pockets you can do. I'm going to grab some scraps of cardstock. I'll be right back. All right, so I have my scrap bin. If you've never seen this before and you're easily frightened, close your eyes. Okay. So this is my scrap bin. I'm going to put it down here. Now I'm doing a Peter Rabbit. So light blues, browns, tans would definitely be helpful here. Greens. I might even get away with some pinks because I'm actually doing Peter Rabbit and Friends. Let's see. I have this from another project. That could be helpful. Do some more brown. Okay. Some more blue. It's hard to see it when it's down on the ground, so we'll pick it up and look at it. Hey, that's kind of interesting. This one, which is scrapbook paper, and it's like gingham on one side and like a very light lavender on the other. That's a good one. So what I'm looking for here and what you should be looking for are things that fit your color scheme. Okay? No, that's a bit much. So looking at the colors of things that you have in your digital. That's why we have our digitals today. Ooh, there's more of that. That's always fun. What else do we have in that pocket? Way down. Ooh, we got some tan. I like tan. Tan is good. Some light yellow. That's a good one. I got to go through here and clean this mess up. I actually have files in here, and they, like each thing goes in a file, you know. But I've got it all messed up right now. Scrap of paper in the right color. Hey, what is that? Come off of there. That's an interesting color. That could be interesting. This could be interesting in the middle. There's some grayish green colors, some very light pink. I like this polka dot. This blue is interesting. Sky is obviously interesting. That could be interesting. Boy, there's a lot more in here than I thought there was. Okay. I thought I'd put like 3 or 4 pieces and I'd be good. All right. All right, so now I have paper to start with. Anything else back here? No, 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 no. No, okay. So I got this out of the way. Hi, Aurora. Hello, Miss Gypsy. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling scrap paper that is within the theme of my digital. All right. So I'm pulling things that are light blue and green. I'm pulling things that are brown in shades, a little bit of like rusty red colors. This drives me crazy because it's got one thing on it and it's always on the other end. We're going to move it. So I'm kind of going, you know, in these colors. And probably the best way to do that is to just pick one piece like this of your ephemera and put it there and use it as inspiration. You guys don't often see this, but I have a magnet right here on my hutch, and I use that magnet for everything. I put my decorations up, you know, my measurements up there when I'm doing a tutorial. If I have a note for myself that I need to see, I put it up there because I always look there, and I just have a paper clip. I always put my pin up there too, with my glue, and then I can just put this up there, and I can look at that and go, yeah, that works. Absolutely. Oh, this is cute with the flowers because they're in the garden, right? Here's the sky. Sky's going to work. This, I'm looking at it and thinking to myself, this might be a little too dark because it's kind of like the only place I see it really is in like the farmer. And I want to concentrate on the animals. So we'll take that out of the mix. The polka dots work. I don't like the flowers, but I do like the polka dots, and I can get some decent pieces out of that. This pink, yeah, this works. So we'll use that one. This green, kind of muted green, is going to work. This, I don't think that, it might, because it's got the buttons and stuff on it. And so when you think of the buttons and things, you're going to think, of his little jacket. So like a piece like this could be cute on a pocket. So I'm going to keep that out. This one, not so much. I mean, I like the leaves on it, but it would be better if it was green, and it's not. So we'll get that out of the mix. This piece, nope, not so impressed with it. This piece, again, it's just a little piece. It's got some flowers on one side, but this is the part that I like, and it's the green, and it's really prominent. That green is really prominent in my page, so I'm going to pick that one. The yellow, yes, absolutely. The light browns, any of the browns, because, we're dealing with animals here, and the animals have those brown colors. So these browns are going to be very helpful in making pockets. The purple, because, yes, with the gingham, this works. Again, we're back to browns. And then, of course, there's all of the light colors that are part and parcel of my particular digital, since I'm doing Peter Rabbit. Okay, so get out. Even if you don't think it's going to work, get it out. Look at it. It might work for you. And as far as these colored pieces, these are going to be your make-ahead bases. These are going to be those pockets that you create. So we're going to be interested in these colors first. We're also going to use that one just because it's interesting to use the double side. The rest of these I'm going to put to the side for later, because this is what we want to talk about. Book pages, get those out. We're going to use those. If you've done any of your preps for your book pages and you have them glued together where they're like this, get those out. If you didn't do it, we're going to do one right now and put it to the side. Okay? So if for any reason you haven't seen this, and I've done it a few times over the course of the last week, so what we're going to do is you're going to take 2 pages from a book. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why we're doing 2 pages. Because 1 page is very thin. So we want them to be thicker. If you have a page that's like this, where it's got a really big lead-in area, don't worry about it. We're going to make that disappear here. Okay? I'm going to get rid of my Peter Rabbit because it's distracting me now. Put that up there. Put him over here. I still have him where I can see him, so I can still kind of reference it, but he's not in my face, okay? So first things first. For this, you need glue. Liquid adhesive, not tape. You can use a glue stick, but even with a glue stick, you still want to use some regular glue, okay? So first thing we're going to do is take 1 page, and we're just going to apply adhesive to it. I don't care if you use Mod Podge here or, white glue and a brush. However you want to get glue on here and spread out, that's what we want, okay? Now, we'll tell you what glue stick is very good for. Glue stick is very good for helping white glue move. So put your glue stick on. Get out of the way. And then go over this with your white glue. If I can get the glue to come out, because we all know how my glue works. It works right now, and it won't work in 2 minutes. There's nothing clogging it, but it's not going to work. Oh, I almost had that. Almost pro'd that. There we go. All right. So now, glue. Yes, glue. Okay. Spread this out. Move it around, however you're going to do it. Don't worry about getting it all the way to the edge, because you're going to probably cut that part off. Okay. So we have glue all over. Now that we have that, take this page, turn it upside down. And then cover this page. Line up your corners, top and bottom as best you can, and press this down. Now, use a ruler, a brayer, the side of your bone folder, whatever it is. You want to press out and make sure that you get all the air and everything out of there and that you spread that glue around really well. And then let this dry. For the love of Pete, let it dry. I see people do this all the time and then they immediately make the pocket and then they want to know why everything has like bubbled out. Just let it dry. Put it to the side. Let it dry. Fortunately for us, we have one that's dry. So we're going to do a basic pocket. Now, why did we do that to the page? Because here's the top of the page. There's the page number. Flip it. There's the page number. There's the top of the page. So now when we fold it up, top of the page, page number, it's going in the right direction. That means all of the writing is going in the right direction. Now, I'm going to tell you this because some people get offended. I don't give a crap. But look at your page and see if there's any bad words. Mine says, how the hell did you? That's, I think, the only bad word I see on there. Okay? So, I don't care, so I'm going to leave it. But I'm going to get out my paper trimmer because this is way too wide to go on a this one's 6 inches wide. Too big. 5.5 inches is the maximum amount for a page in my book. Okay, in the book that we're making. So I'm going to cut. I'm going to get rid of these white spots. Get rid of that white. Get rid of this one. Balance. Okay. Save these. We'll use them in the ephemera class. Now, I don't want this. So I'm going to cut it off. And I'm going to mirror that down here. Again, save those. So now I have this. Now, this one's a little big. It's a little big, but, you know, that's okay. This is where your corner rounder comes in. And if it's a small piece, I use the small one. If it's a medium-sized piece, I use the medium one. And if it's a big piece like this, we use the big one. It just makes it look symmetrical. You can do you any way you want. But I'm going to round corners, okay? Am I going to round these? No. Why? Because if I round them, then I have this weird little awkward piece over here, and I don't want that. Can I round the bottoms? Yeah, I sure can. You can cut this to any width that you want, keeping in mind that you're going to put glue here and here. So whatever size you do that is going to be different. Next piece of advice is if you're going to put a finger notch in your pocket, do that before you glue it together. Okay? Let's do this the right way. So we're going to find the middle of our page and put a mark there. So this is my middle. Okay. If you don't have one of these fancy rulers that has 0 in the center, take your measurement, which for me is about 5 inches. So I'm going to come in about 2.5. I'm going to scoot it over just a little bit so that it's like right at that 5 there. 2.5, boop, put my mark in, okay? But I recommend that you get one of these that has the fancy 0 in the center. You can actually get that, like this particular one has a 0 in the center here. And so it's easy for you to put it on here and go, okay, that's, yep, that's perfect right there. That's my center because these two measurements are the same. Because when you have one that has a 0 in the center, it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, 1, 2, 3. So, and then it has all the marking in between. So any one of these types of rulers. I have that one. Of course, I have my blue one. This one, again, has a 0 in the center. So Very helpful to use. It also marks all of my eighths across and on the length. So if you have one of these kinds of rulers, very helpful to have. Okay, so now that you have the mark, what you're going to do is you're going to put that, see that little dot in the center? That's the center of your punch. So you just want to kind of line up your mark with your dot as deep as you want to go and punch. Now you've got that relatively in the middle and you can't see it because it's not really inked. So at this point, I would say ink your pocket. All right. When in doubt, use a basic color. I'm going to say this again. I've said it 1,000 times. Please do not use vintage photo in your pieces as your primary. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it turns orange. Over time, it turns orange. And I don't know any photos that are orange. In fact, I don't know any old photos that are brown. They're typically, they get kind of gray. What's on there is oil from your fingers that turns brown, and that's dirt. Why are we glorifying it? Okay. Now we can see where that is, and we'll go ahead and glue this up because it's a simple pocket. This can be made out of book pages. It can be made out of any regular pages that you want to use. It's very simple and easy to do. And there it is. Now, if you want this to be an envelope type pocket, all you have to do is fold this top piece down. Where's my ruler? There it is. Just put a ruler here, move it up a little bit. You want to make sure we're straight. So use your grid board or your T-square, whatever it is you're using. Come up above where this is. And then just fold this up. Right along it. Fold it down. Ink this. And now you've made a basic envelope. So you have a basic pocket. You have a basic envelope. Now, easy peasy. If I'm going to cover this with paper, I always recommend that you cut your mat first before you glue anything together so that you get the right, you want to have this in the right spot. Okay? Why measure twice when you can just do it all at once? So I would say if you're going to mat this, and this is going to be a make ahead, don't glue it down. All right? Now, if you want to dress this up a little bit and it's going to be glued in, there's a couple of ways that you can dress this up. Number one, you could put some brads in the corner to make it look like it's riveted together because that's going to be glued down. You're not going to see the backs of the brads. But keep in mind, it's going to affect the other side of the page. So I would recommend if you're going to put like brads or something through here, even eyelets, that if you're not putting anything through them, put a little extra cardstock on the back here to keep it from rubbing through the paper or causing problems with people trying to write on the other side, okay? If you're just using it as an envelope and you're going to tuck it in someplace, then fantastic. Don't worry about it. If you're just using it as a pocket, glue it down. But again, if you glue this down, you can glue it on 3 sides to glue it into a book and have a pocket here at the top, which means you may want to put another pull here, or maybe you glue it on these 3 sides or these 3 sides and you have a side pocket. There's endless options here. You can even do that if you turn this into an envelope. You can glue it down on 3 sides. It would have a pocket there. This will open up. You'll have a pocket here. Glue it down here, here, and here, or here. And when you open this up, you have a pocket here, but you'd also have a pocket here. I do not recommend that you put a finger pull over here, because if you do, it's going to, unless you glue in further, you're going to have, your page is going to, whatever's in here is going to show through there, and that's not going to be fun. Yes, you can get the small grid stores at most grid boards, at most dollar stores. A lot of them don't have like this where they have the inches all the way across, but they do have them on the outside. So if you use your ruler, you can line them up. Okay, so that's our basic pocket turned into an envelope, double pocket. If you don't want this part here because you want it to be a shorter pocket, just take that part off. What the hell, right? Look, take it off. Ink. Okay, so that's one simple fold that gives you basically 4 different kinds of pockets. So very basic. Let me get this big honking thing out of my way real quick. So let's talk about another type of book pocket. Remember, you're going to have this video forever, but you have a whole week to work on these, okay? So here's here's another book page. If we fold this up, ta-da! The writing's going to be in all the right directions. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this up in half. Mine is about 9 1/4. So I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off the top. Just to make life easy. I'm going to fold this in half. Do I need my scoreboard for this? Hell no. Okay, then I'm going to take this and fold it this way. Now, if you have thicker book pages, by all means, use one piece. But if you have thinner ones, now it's simply about folding these. So we'll take the first one. I'm going to put the lines in here so you guys can see it. So this is my center line. And this is my center line here. So fold, fold. On this top piece, hold on to it. Open your page. Fold this one all the way down to your center line there, just inside of it. You don't want to quite go over it. Okay, glue this down. Do you need a lot of glue? No. Do you need to glue it down? No. You want it off of there? Chop that sucker off. You got 2 sets of paper here, remember? Gluing down is really important if you only have one piece of book page. But because we're going to let that slide, okay? So we're going to fold that back up and bring it back over. Now we have this one. This is number 2. We're going to open it up. We want to fold in this way. But on this one, let me put that line in there. On this one, we're going to be about 1/4 of an inch from the line. Glue it down. Chop it off, glue it down, whichever one works for you. Okay? See that? Now, this one, which is the last one we're going to fold, hold on to it, open it up. Where your finger is the inside. This one we're going to do about 1/2 inch. I'm going to keep it straight by using these other words. And glue it down. Now you'll notice we glued 3 sides. I ain't doing that one. We don't need to do that one. That one's going to get glued down. Okay? Folding it up, folding it up. If we ink all of this, all of our folds, and fold it all up. Bing, bing, bing. And again, if you want to come in, you can put finger notches in these. You don't have to. Some people like they finger notch everything. I don't know. I cut these off, so I don't finger notch a lot. But, you know, if you're a finger notcher, Berber, you do you, boo. That paper is really thick and doesn't want to go in there. There we go. So now you have your finger notches. We'll ink those so we can see them. Ink the back. Ink the bottom. Now we're going to glue this one. So open it out. We're going to glue here. You don't have to glue there if you don't want to. You can make that a big pocket, okay? Glue this part down. Glue this. And glue on the bottom. You now have the second of very basic pockets. You have a pocket here that comes all the way out. So let me grab it. So you have a pocket here that comes all the way out. And then you have a tuck-in pocket here and a tuck-in pocket here. Now, if you really wanted to, you can put another piece on here and make another pocket. You glue this down on 3 sides, you have a pocket, okay? So a lot of different ways of doing that. So that's a different pocket. Want to do a fancy pocket, a fancy schmancy one? You want to do a fancy schmancy one? Let's do a fancy schmancy one. All right. So let's get a piece of paper. And let's cut 2 even pieces. So 4.5 inches. Because this is 9 pieces, 9 inches. So I'm going to cut it at 4.5 inches. I have 2 pieces that are the same width and the same height. Ta-da! They fit on top of each other, right? Okay. But I want to dress this up because I'm going to put this in my journal. I want it to look a little bit pretty. So this is 4 by 4.5. So I'm going to cut this at 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. This is probably a little heavy for this pocket. Yeah, that's going to be a little too heavy for this pocket. Let me find something thinner. Okay, let's see. All right, that's better. It's thinner. Thin is good for this. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this. If I want to round corners, I'm going to make sure that I mirror that on everything. So I will round the corners on this piece. And on this piece. Okay. Now, if this is a light color, I'll ink it. But since it's a dark color and it's not white core, because sometimes when you have paper, it'll have a white core and it's just color on the outside. This is not white core. So then I'm going to take this and I'm going to glue this down. We're going to see if we can get glue to work. Any glue bottle to work today. Probably should have just made a new glue bottle for this. All right, so this pocket is a little bit fancier, but it's a nice one to have in your repertoire. So what I'm going to do is put this on here. I'm going to give myself 1/8 of an inch all the way around. How do you make sure? I usually just give myself 1/8 on one end and then 1/8 on either side, and I know the rest of it's going to lay flat. Okay. And then before I do anything else, if you have, I thought I pulled one out for this. I didn't. Ugh, can't find it in there. I've got to bring it out here. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Don't worry, I'm going to give you an alternative. How do I lose things? Does anybody know? That has some. Here we go. Here's some more. Okay. My area is always a mess when we're done with this. If you have a set of slots, well, that's different. If you have a set of slot dies, no matter what shape they are, you can use them. Sometimes you'll find that some dies that you get come with a set of slots, or it just has a slot of some kind. So you can use that. But you just get out a slot that is less than this. We'll use a straight one just because, you know, if you just want it to be less wide than what you have there, that would work. And you could just cut a slot in this. Now, you know, else I don't have a slot. That's okay. I'm going to show you. I don't have a die cutting machine. I don't have dies. That's all right. What you do have is a hole punch. Yep. So you're going to take this and you're going to use a ruler or your grid or whatever you got. And we're going to mark in a certain distance. Let me grab my. Okay, I want to come in like 3/4 of an inch. And then I want to come in like 1/2 an inch. So I'm going to mark here and here. There and there. That's my 2 marks, okay? Now I'm going to punch holes. Do these have to be small holes? No. Do they have to be big holes? No. Whatever size you've got. But I'm just going to punch those 2 holes. There. And over here. Now I have 2 holes in my paper. You remember me telling you that a craft knife is your best friend? It is. So I'm going to get my metal ruler and my craft knife, making sure that my blade is nice and sharp. I don't want it to be dull. I'm going to turn this. I'm going to put my ruler right at the bottom of those punch holes. And I'm going to run my craft knife between the two. How do I know when I hit the other one? You'll feel it. Then I'm going to turn the piece around and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of those holes. Slot. Nice round edges, slot. Now I can glue this down on a piece of paper by itself, or I can take the other piece of paper that I cut for this purpose. Round my corners. Put glue around my edges, all the way, all my edges. Now, if you want, you can glue this part because it's going to get glued down, as is this part over here and here. And then I'm going to put this on top of this. Line it up as best you can, and then push in just a little bit. Push in, push in. Why? Because it's going to loosen it up a little bit on the inside and make it so that you can put thicker stuff in there. Okay, so that is my pocket. Is this straight? No. Does it matter? No. Why? Because if I want straight and perfect, I'm going to go to the store and buy it. I'm not going to be getting, a homemade one. Hey, Becky. Okay, so that's another pocket. Again, depending upon how you glue this down, depends on if you're going to add another pocket. But look at the size of this. And if you put this on a page in a journal, we put it down here, you can glue it on 3 sides and have a pocket here and here. You can move it over. You can glue it here, here, and here and have a pocket here with like a little tag that has a top on it that looks pretty hanging out of it. That is a way that you can use the pocket. Now, let's do the basic pocket, like the basic. No more basic than. We have a piece of paper. We know our book is 5.5 inches wide. Cut it to 5.5 inches. How tall do you want your pocket to be? I'm an advocate of less than 3 inches on a from the bottom up pocket. Okay. So let's go 2.5. I'm going to give you the formula. All right. I've put this out there before, and I'm going to do it again. Whenever you're building anything and you're matting it, let me grab this one because this one I can use. So whenever you're matting something, you want your height minus 1/2 inch and your width minus 1/2 inch. All right. That will give you a 1/4 inch border. Quarter. If you want less than that, it is your height minus 1/4 of an inch and your width minus 1/4 of an inch. This is the one that I use most frequently when you see those very narrow borders, okay? But your basic is your height and width minus 1/4 inch squared, which is that. It's height minus width, okay? So when I put a mat on this, we'll get rid of this. This is my metal grid board. I use this mostly for card making and stuff. It's just a piece of, it's metal. It's got a grid on it. It's mostly used for card making, and it's because I can use magnets on it, which are in here. The magnets came off on the book, on the thing. All right, so we're going to take our pocket and we're going to measure our pocket. Our pocket is 5.5 by 2.5. So 5.5 becomes 5.25. 2.5 becomes 2.25. Okay. And this one is actually hair over 5.5. So I'm just going to trim that real quick. That should be 5.5. By the way, try to use one ruler all the time because not all rulers are the same measurements. Imagine that, right? So we're going to put a piece on top of this to make a pocket, and we want it to be 5.5 by 2.5. I need something with some decor. Here we go. So 5.25 by 2.25. That is not long enough. So I'm going to cut this at 2.25. Okay. I'm going to take 3 inches off here. Does this match? No. That looks better. All right. So now let's say I'm going to put a finger notch in here. I'm going to pull this all the way up, even on both sides. Put in my finger notch. Give or take the middle. But the point is now that my finger notch is there, it is where it's supposed to be. It's lined up. Going to ink my top piece. And then I'm going to glue this down. Obviously, because I'm like tearing these up and cutting them up and stuff, these are not the pockets I'm going to be using in my journal. I'm going to be making those this week. Just like you are. Okay, so that is like the most basic pocket you can have. And it just fits on the bottom of the page. Now, what if you want to have like a big one that tucks in this way? Same principle, you just measure for height this way, and then you'll have a big pocket that can go in this way. And you could have 2 pockets because you could glue it in the middle and have one at the top, one at the bottom. I know I'm talking fast, but that's because you guys are going to be watching this video back over the course of the week. And so you'll be able to slow down and catch each part. All right. So now let's talk about those popular gusseted pockets. And the reason we're going to talk about them is because you see them a lot in the ephemera kits. So let's do one. And for this, I just need a scrap of paper. Hello, scraps of paper. We use this one. It's just a scrap. All right, so let's say we have a gusseted pocket. All right. Now, if you want to make a gusseted pocket, that's easy to do. If you have a scoreboard, use a scoreboard. If you don't, use your, your board. So I want to make a gusseted pocket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to about a 1/2 inch and fold this up. I'm going to do that on 3 sides. If you don't have a grid board, just mark it with a ruler, top and bottom, and then just go between those marks. Okay. So now I'm going to ink these marks so that everybody can see them. All right, so there are the marks. This is where your scissors are going to come in handy. Do not cut straight across. You can, but don't. Cut into the corner and then swivel your scissors out. So you're taking this weird kind of diamond shape out, into the corner, out of the corner. You are wedging the pieces, wedge here, wedge here. So you want these little flaps. So let's say you have one of these in your digital and you want to know how to use it. Well, there's a couple of ways. One, take these flaps off and just use the pocket. I digress. The other way to do this is to glue this down. Now I'm going to show you. We're going to get a piece of scrap paper here that's big enough for this to fit on. Yes, okay. Because this pocket is gusseted, which means it's going to have more space in it, you can use tape on this if you want. Okay? Or you can use glue. Put your glue down and glue this pocket. Just clip. I'm going to show you how to use the tape because I want you to know how to put this down straight. Let me let the dog out. Come on, outside you. Yes, yes. Ooh. All right, so we want to put this down straight. So we'll get out our double-sided tape again. And again, I'm going to use the red line so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So on these tabs, you add your tape as close to the line as you can get. I screwed that one up. That's okay. So as close to the fold line as you can be without going over it. Again, press this down. And then you're going to start peeling. Here's the thing. Don't peel the tape all the way off.
Wow, that's a lot of background noise. Hi, this is Mike with Cox Business Support.
Flap it in.
On a recorded line. Who do I have the pleasure of working with today? I'm sorry, I still didn't quite catch your name.
Flap, flap, flap. Okay.
Am I on speakerphone or something? You sound awfully difficult to understand.
Now, when we fold these, we keep our flaps out. All
Could
right.
you spell that for me, please?
And then when we put this down, because we still have these pieces that are like, not
Danielle.
exposed,
All right, I appreciate
we
that.
can find how to put this down
I got
straight.
your internal ticket number here.
So there is about straight.
2026 0625 120.
Pull out the remainder of the tape. Pull out the remainder of the tape. This takes practice. Pull out the remainder of the tape. And now you have a gusseted pocket. That means there's more space inside the pocket. You have it nice and straight because you used your tape to do it.
Well,
but you can, of course, glue this down. Let me the dog.
See if you contacted the end user and done layer 1, because the modem is offline and the outage has been cleared. I said the outage has been cleared.
I have to tell you guys, he talks louder when I'm live than he does normally. I don't know if it's subconscious, but he does, and it's irritating. Because he doesn't want me to go in the other room. No, I want you to stay out here. All right, so that is just a basic gusseted pocket. This is no different than this, except that it has the gussets, okay? Let's do a corner pocket. All right, so doing a corner pocket, you can have this be as tall as your page, half the size of your page, just a little bit of your page, whatever you want. So we're going to just randomly pick a size here. Okay. So now we have our base. You can cut from corner to corner and make this a real corner.
A router. There's a modem on site that's offline.
You can leave flat top and bottom. If you want to do that.
Okay, I thought you said router, but
and you're not
so
like willing to just be brave and chop it, give yourself a mark. 1 inch here and 1 inch here. Now chop between that mark and that mark.
Yeah, no, I can see it's still down. Had they confirmed power to it? Is there any lights lighting up on it?
A little bit more there. There we go. All right. So now you have a corner pocket that's square. You want to mat this. Okay. We're going to measure our width, which is 3.5, and our length,
at this point, we're looking
which
to
is
do
4.5, and that's the size. Excuse me. I'm coming. No.
I don't have one set up yet. I do still have to set that up.
Nothing.
All right. No, I'm about to set up for the technician to go out. There's a 2-hour window that'll be.
Go. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, so back to this. This is
just hold on a moment while I make that ticket for the technician to go out. I'll have that information for you shortly.
So this is 3.5 by 4.5. So I'm going to cut a piece of paper that is 3.5 by 4.5. Let's see. This one is 3.5, so we're going to cut it to 4.5. And then we're going to do a little drawing. This is going to go on here this way. So we're going to draw on the other side of it. What we're going to do is we're going to come in
contact available?
twice the distance of the mat that we want. and up twice the distance
For a manager on duty.
of the mat piece that we want. And then we're just going to draw a line.
Okay. So
Now you can cut this out with your scissors,
manager
or you
on
can cut it
duty
out with
is
your
Raphael.
trimmer. It's entirely up to you. I'm fairly
Okay,
comfortable
and
using
insert
my
phone
trimmer to
number
do
for
it.
Raphael.
And now when I take this and I put it on here,
Sure.
I'm going to have that border that goes all the way around my mat. Okay. So now all I'm going to do is ink this with whatever color ink I would use for my journal.
All right. So that's 850-479-2354 for Raphael.
And I'm going
Okay.
to glue this down. Can I use tape on this? Yeah, you can. Anything that you can't look at and go, that's going to have stress on it, you can use tape. Okay. But if you live in a climate like I do, where it's very, very hot, the tape is going to stay gummy eternally.
Okay. Setting that up.
You don't want to use tape on practically anything. And now I can glue this
All right. Earliest schedulable appointment I've got
onto my
is
page.
Monday between 3 and 5.
And have a pocket. I can either glue up on the sides here and just have this, but it makes more
Monday.
sense to just glue
Yes.
down the side and across and leave a little bit more room. I just kind of press in a little bit when it's drying towards center, and that's going to bring this up just a little bit. Okay.
Right. All right. In that case, is there anything else I can try to assist you with today?
Hi, Virginia.
Just keep in mind, anytime we send out a technician, that there's the possibility of a charge depending on what the technician finds.
Okay.
If it's an issue with the Cox
So-
equipment itself, there would be no charge.
We have done
All right.
some basic book pockets.
Thank you, kind sir, and you have
Simple and
yourself a
easy.
fantastic day.
I have
Thank you. Bye-bye.
probably 100 different pockets. So if I sat here and went through all of them, we would be here for, I don't know, I guesstimated, I think I figured it out for, it would take me 83 hours. Okay. We have a basic pocket that's kind of decorative where you can, put stuff inside, and you can do more than one. If you want to have like step pockets here, you could certainly cut more than one of these before you put it on the backer board. And so you could realistically have 3 pockets here, or maybe 4 this way. Depends on the size of the piece that you're using. Okay. But we talked about that and how to do that, how to put the slots in for a slot pocket. We're just doing basics. This is a basic bottom of the page pocket. It's also the same for if you want to have like a side pocket. Okay. Same principle. This is a gusseted pocket. It doesn't matter where we put this. This could be gusseted onto a backing. It could be gusseted on as a flat pocket at the bottom. You could put gussets on this. But that is a basic gusset pocket. Now, we've done a basic corner pocket. Honestly, corner pockets are probably the easiest thing on the planet, because realistically, all you need is any piece of cardstock. Literally cut at a random height, put it in, slap it off. You don't have to measure or anything. And then do the same trick with the paper, where it's twice the distance out and twice the distance up. Cut it off. Make sure that it's the same height of the original pocket. And you're always going to have that perfect piece. If you want to be real easy about it, just take a piece of paper and just go from corner to corner. This actually gets you 2 pockets. Look at that. Okay. So those are the basics of that one. Now let's talk about belly bands. Belly bands. Belly bands can go 2 ways. I say 3. You can have a belly band that goes across the page, up and down on a page, and I think diagonally across a page. Let me see what we have in examples in our book. All right, so we have a basic pocket here. I'm going to talk about that one in a second. All right, so here's an up-down belly band. Very simple and basic. Here's an across belly band. Very simple and basic. Does it have to be in the middle of the page? No. This one, I put like a notepad on it. So I could technically put this at the top of the page so that you have all that writing space underneath to utilize. And we're going to talk about that one. Let's see, what else? That's just a side pocket. It's our basic pocket, just extended. There's our book pocket, basic, simple book pocket. This one is single layer glued to the page. And I don't think we have any other ones in the back. So let's talk about those belly bands, okay? I need to take a pill, and I need to get more soda. Which I would have Buggy do for me, but, you know, he's a teenager, and it's summer, so he's still asleep at 12:30 in the afternoon. Why are we not decorating anything? We're not decorating anything because tomorrow is Ephemera Day. No, I'm kidding. Next Saturday, we're going to be doing that. All right. So at this point, ladies, we're going to take a 5-minute break so everybody can go potty, clean up whatever mess you've made, get it kind of put off to the side, because we're going to come back and we're going to work on belly bands. So again, we're going to want our paper trimmer. We're going to want our adhesive. We're going to want our cardstock that's at least as tall as our journal pages, or at least as wide, one or the other, and some decorating paper to kind of make the mats for it. Okay. So let's take 5 minutes. I know. Not even. We'll take 4. How's that? Yes, med check. Get it done. We're going to take 4 minutes, okay? I'm going to get soda, use the bathroom, all that kind of stuff. All right? 4 minutes. I need soda. last you for a minute. Yeah. No cheese stacks today. All right, if you're watching this video back, please don't yell at me for taking a 3-minute break. I know my ladies. They have to go potty. Walk the dog. And I will try to remember in the post-production to speed this part up so that you're not, sorry about all that noise. It's right by the mic. All right, so we're back. I'll give everybody just a couple of seconds to come back in. And I'm going to get out a bigger trimmer because that trimmer does not go to 8.5 inches. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started again. So we're going to be doing belly bands. Now, the typical width of a belly band is up to you. I like about 1.25 inches. So that's usually where I cut them. So I just cut it at 1.25 inches in width. By the height of my page, which for me is pretty standard at about 8.5 inches. So if you're going to make it a head and it's just going to be a regular belly band, you can stop right there. That's it. That's a belly band. That's a belly band. So that is perfect. Okay. I thought it was crooked. So that's your basic belly band. Again, if you're going to cover this with something, you want something that is your width, which for us was 1.25 inches. So we're going to cut this at 1 inch because it's 1/4 inch narrower by 8.25 inches long. Because we want it to have that border all the way around. If you don't, that's fine. Cut it to the exact size. But to mat it, it's 1/4 inch off the height and 1/4 inch off the width. Okay? Ink, round corners if you want to, glue this down. I'm not going to ink. But if you're just doing a basic belly band, just cut the strip and have them there so that you can pull them. It is a great way of using up leftover scraps. If you use leftover scraps, then the next journal that you do, if you need a blue belly band, you can just grab it out of your stash. It's already pre-cut, okay? All right, so that is a standard belly band. Glue it down middle of the page. Now you have a belly band that you can tuck stuff into. If you want, glue down the center, and then you can have smaller cards in here. It's entirely up to you. You can have one giant journaling card. You can have 3 or 4 smaller ones put in there that you don't have to glue down the center. You can glue down the center and put a couple at the top, a couple at the bottom, however you want to do that. Okay. Now let's talk about doing a belly band that goes across the page. So to do one that goes across the page, we're going to want one that is the width of our paper. So measure. Why? Because not every page in your signature is the same width. That's how we avoid creep. So this one is actually not 5.5. This one is 5 3/8. So this is where all of that weird measurement comes in. Okay. So let's look at this. We're going to look between the 2 and the 3. These lines are your inches. The dark line is your 1/2 inch. So you get a dark line at every 1/2 inch. You get a light line in the quarters. So this is 2, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 3 inches. In between those, there's 3 marks. The one that's in the center is the 1/8 of an inch. So that's where you want to cut. So we know that our book is 5 3/8. So 5 1 2 3/8, or between the 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch. Cut it off. Now cut it down to our 1 1/4 inches, because that's the height of our belly band. Okay. Now we're going to cut the piece to go in here. And so we want it to be 1 inch. And then we want it to be 1/4 inch smaller, so 5 1/8. So we're going to go to 5 and then go to that line between 5 and 5 1/4. Because every page that you have in here, because of creep, is slightly different. It's not exactly 5.5 inches wide. That makes this a little bit more difficult. It also means that you can't cut this pocket to be exactly 5.5 inches, because it's going to be, this is not going to be 5.5. This is going to be 5 3/8. Okay. So either know that you're going to shave edges, or just measure your piece and cut it exactly. So again, for this one, I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. Can I tape it? Yeah. Now, I know a lot of people that do this, that make their belly bands, and they cut their pieces, and then they put very basic scrapbook paper on it. And by basic, I mean things that are just like writing, or just shades, colors, nothing with the design, because the design kind of locks you in, but words and colors do not. All right, so now you have a belly band that goes up and down. If you have something like a pad or something that you want to put in here, putting it at the top is where you're going to put it, because then you slide the back cover of your pad down, you have this, and when you pick out the pad, you have all the writing space. If you're using it to tuck in like a big journaling card or something, then put it towards the middle of the page. All right. Now, the other option is a corner piece. This is more difficult, and I'll tell you why. Because you never know exactly where it's going to be. Here's what I do. I make sure that I line up corners. This corner, okay? Fold over the page and draw my lines. Where am I going to put my lines? So I'm not going to do that now, because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So on the other side, what I would do is I would just draw a line. Shoop. And then over here, I would draw a line. I want to make sure that my corners are lined up with the edge of my book. Why? Because you don't want them hanging over, and you don't want funny corners. Okay? That missed my foot. So now I'm just going to cut these off on my lines. And I'm going to take off some here. I'm going to line this up so that it's straight. And I'm going to take some off there. Now I have a corner belly band, so to speak, that I can glue here and here and still have, tuck in. in order to cut a piece of paper to go on top of this, if I want to use this format, all I have to do is take this, decide where I want this to be, right about there. Okay. Cut this. Now, I have a lot of angles here that I have to play with, okay? So, I'm just going to put this in, and I'm going to shave a little bit here, here, and here. Just a little bit. See? A little bit. And then that will be matted right there. And now I have a corner pocket, okay? A corner belly band. Now, again, obviously, I have a lot of different ways of decorating these, and we're not going to go through all of those here. You can look through, I believe they're in my ephemera playlist where you can find them. So I'm going to put that down. Now I have a corner belly band, and it can be as big as I want. I mean, I could literally do it so that it comes like this way, and it's just a belly band, 1 inch, you know. But this one is a simple way of doing it in the corner. You basically just make a corner pocket and cut off the corner. Okay. So I've done that a few times. What else? What else? Well, let's talk about putting lace in a belly band. Get your lace out. Epic failure. Epic. There's no such things as failures in crafting. There isn't. All right, we're going to get this one out because it's basic. It's my basic. I use it for a lot of basic stuff. It's just vintage and it's basic. Boring. Okay. So let's say we do this one and we want to put lace on it because we're girly and frilly and we want it to be lacy. Well, we're going to get a second piece. Doesn't matter what color this is. Doesn't matter. Okay. And we're going to cut another piece. So this one we cut at 1.25 inches. So we're going to cut this one at 1 inch, exact measurements, 1.25 inches. I probably would like a bigger trimmer for this. 1.25 inches. My height, I believe, is 8.5. 8.5. All right, now I have that exact piece. Now, you guys saw me do this the other day because I did this in a live. And we've learned a few lessons. One, tape makes this easier. Run tape down the edge. Hells, what if I get off the paper with the tape? That's okay. Just roll it in. Roll it in. Tape on both sides. Why? Because it's going to help hold your lace. Then you take your lace. As a general rule of thumb, I always leave it a little longer than it needs to be. Put it onto the tape. Shouldn't be using my paper scissors for this, but I am. There we go. Cut. Lace. This is literally the basic way of making a lace belly band, other than just putting a piece of lace down the page. I hope this does not sound bad. I don't want to use my good paper on this. I want basic color paper so I can write notes on it. That, baby, you do this any way you want, okay? This is you. Now, this is where you're going to use that heavier glue. Why? Because you're gluing lace. So something a little bit thicker than, your regular Elmer's glue. But if that's all you got, that's all you got, okay? I'm going to use some 3-in-1. I would never recommend using hot glue. Why? Because hot glue will pull apart. It doesn't actually go into the fibers of the paper. It just lays on top of it. And so it'll chip off later. All right, so now I'm going to put some heavier glue on here. The bog of eternal stench, as I like to call it. Fabri-Tac, if you have Fabri-Tac, is a good one for this. If you don't have that and you have inexpensive, and I'm saying that because you can get it anywhere now. You can get it at the Dollar Tree. Aleene's Tacky Glue. Anything that says tacky glue on it, it's thicker glue, okay? Then we'll just take this and we lay it on top. Line it the hell up. You can see your piece underneath. Line it up. Press this down. Use your bone folder. Use a brayer. Let's see. What else do we have there? I don't know where it went. Here it is. We use a credit card or a gift card. Okay? Whatever you have. And put some clips on this. Do you have to put clips all over it like a porcupine? No. Am I going to do that? Probably, because it's fun. Put it under a heavy book, but you want to let this dry, okay? Yeah, use it as a template. Have a template that's in your stash. If this is like the size you like that's your size belly band, use it. I have a couple of different belly bands in a couple of different ways. You can do this with the lace. I did one a long time ago, and it's 3-dimensional. And it's just taking out like 3 different circle punches and punching circles out of your paper and then layering them on with foam dots so that you have some that are down and some that are sticking up. And so it gives it a very fluid look. Really kind of a nice belly band. Check that one out if you're looking for those. The other thing that you can do here is, when we get to doing the ephemera and stuff, you can actually put like decorations on here. Maybe you put something bigger on here and you could use it as a little bit of a tuck. You could certainly put it on here just like a little emblem of some kind, or maybe some steps. But that's your basics. Belly bands are the basics. They are the most basic thing that you can put in to a journal, as far as I'm concerned, because it's just literally, it's just a piece of paper. It's just a strip of cardstock that you glue down. Does it have to be 1 inch all the way down? No. If you want to take it and make it like 1 inch at the bottom and taper it to 3 inches at the top, freaking awesome. Do it. I think that would be fantastic. It's yours. You do you, boo. I'm always saying that. You do you, and be brave. Be fearless. Just do it. Who cares what anybody else says? Okay? And I hate pink, so for me that is gangsta. Okay. So let's talk about other types of pockets and things that you can do. We're going to get a bunch of those out, and then we're going to talk about probably one of the easiest way to incorporate a pocket without having to build it. I'll show you. So let's talk about things. What do we got? Well, all right, I'm going to get out my stash. All right, let's start with the big one. Most of you have seen my stash. Okay. First, I have a stash of pre-made tags. These are not, see, there's a pre-made belly band. These are not, out of the way, thank you. These are not decorated in any way particular. A lot of these are from packaging, so they're just very basic. You know, it's just packaging and stuff that I've cut down, pieces of cards and things that I have. This is packaging. All of these things can be turned into tags. Packaging. These are particularly made into journal cards. So in here, I have all of my tags and journal cards. I make these out of leftovers. So if I'm using a file folder and I have some leftover file folder, I'm going to make a tag out of it.
Please contact us as soon as possible.
Simple, basic. I don't even round the corners on them, okay?
So give us a call back at.
So that is a basic. Yes, I know we're supposed to be talking about pockets and tags, and tomorrow we're going to deal with ephemera, but this kind of comes under the belly bands, pockets and stuff, okay? Because these are basics. These are buildable basics. Some of them, like this, is going to be like, it has to be in a very specific journal. I haven't found the journal for it yet, but it does need to be in a very specific journal. But something that's a little bit more basic, like this, that could be in just about anything, you know, but it's in here because it's a cute little journal card. It could be a cute little journal card. This could be in anything. This can be in anything. This can be in anything. And all this is just packaging that's been trimmed and backed. Okay. So could I make a belly band out of this? You betcha. I could cut that right down the center and make a belly band out of it in a heartbeat. Same thing with this one. All right. So keep that in mind. The other thing that we have is this one. This is my stash. This is my make ahead stash. Because these are all things that are generally made ahead that don't have very specific locked in. They're all of the projects that I do, but stopped at a point where they're still androgynous. They don't have a theme. All right. So up here, I have from scraps of paper, I cut a lot of these long tabs. Do I have to keep it this long? No, I could cut that in half if I want to. But I have all of these little tabs that are long tabs that I can use in different, like these ones here would look cute in this Peter Rabbit one. You know, that's going to work in the Peter Rabbit. That one is, we already know because I got that paper out to use in the Peter Rabbit. And then I have these ones that are just like very basic. Okay. So that falls into our, now this one, I don't know if the video is out for this yet, but this is a tall tab that's a pocket on the other side. There's a video, it's either out or it's coming out. But I keep them blanks in here. Why? So that when I go, you know what would really work here is one of those pocket tabs. I can just pull it out. It's completely blank. This is why I'm always telling you guys, keep, you know, make ahead stuff. Because if I have to stop and get out paper to do this and punches and cut it and measure, I'm not going to do it. I'll just move on. I'll put it in a regular pocket or I'll just throw on a piece of ephemera and move on. But if I know that I have it pre-made and I can pull it out and work with it, I will. These, I always keep these around. These are just index cards that are cut down narrower. And these are just top end index cards I always keep around if I don't have library cards, but I have some library cards. I have some library pockets that I do. We're going to talk about doing that one real quick. Then I have like some die cut pockets that make little pockets. These are real easy, so I keep those around. I have these. This is a pocket that is a paper clip that slides on. So all I have to do is cut a mat for the front of it. I have a bunch of those in here. See, all done. I have these, which again are the same type of a pocket, but a little bit different. These are not to be used that way. They're slightly different. I have some little file folders because sometimes when I have a piece of file folder left, I don't know what to do with it. I'll just cut it down and make a little file folder out of it. Now I have file folders that I can use in my journals that I can add in. You'll notice most of these are not inked. There's another pocket. This is like a coin envelope pocket. Why are these not inked? They're not inked because I don't know what book they're going to go in. These little pockets. These are actually designed to have tall file cards in them. It is a Tim Holtz dupe. We'll talk about those. I have some of them in the back. This is just a tall pocket. But look, if you add a little tab to the top, doesn't that look like a little file folder pocket? And you don't have to use it as a pocket. Here's an idea. Put this in, glue it down here, here, and at the bottom, have a pocket here, and then just put writing paper in there and have a flip down where you can have writing. That's a great way to use it. Here's just your basic library pocket. This is a 6x6 pocket that we did. If you want to smash out a 6x6 pad, literally, this is just folding and gluing. It's like boop, 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 done. Okay, and you can cut that down. We'll talk about that in a second. So let's pull one of those. More library style pockets. Guest check pockets. These are easy to do. Quick and easy. We've done these live before. When we've done a craft with me, we've done these. And there's a couple of different ways of doing them. But we have guest check pockets. Always cute in a journal. This is a stepped book pocket. And this is literally just tearing paper and having a piece of cardstock to wrap it onto. And it just makes these really cute torn edged pockets that you can put stuff into, you know. Those are adorable. Basic, same as the pocket we just did with the book page, only instead of folding down the middle one, we left it up. So now you have a pocket here, you have a pocket here, and you have a pocket here. So it's a play on the same thing. And depending upon how you fold it is to which direction it goes. These, I love these. These are so easy to do. We'll do one of these just because I want you guys to see that, because it's really simple. This one is cute, and we use this in our current journal, but the other side gets wasted. Let's see, what else? What else? What else? Let's see what else. These are fun. This is all book page. You could use it with scrapbook paper if you want to. This is a video that you can see. I will try and get a list of these videos for you guys. I like this one. This actually had a piece that folded over. It's a piece of advertisement. And this piece folded over. And all I did was cut it off and glued it here, here, and here to make a little tuck. Because that's the icky part there. Here's our belly bands with lace. There's a whole bunch of them back here. But we're going to talk about these. Those are envelopes. We're going to talk about those, okay? What else? Okay, so let's talk about those. Because we can. Alrighty. So this one, this can be done out of a 6x6. Do I have a 6x6? I do. I do have a 6x6 pad over here. This is not going to fit theme, but it's okay. I need to get piece out of here. Piece that we won't use for anything else. If anybody knows the history of this pad, I bought it for a very specific project, and I did that project, and I hate the paper. I hate this stuff. So I'm trying to use it up. So that's how the pink journal came to be. The pink demonstration journal. Okay, so for the first one, this pocket ends up being about 2 3/4 inches by about 5.5, because we're going to start off by taking 1/2 inch from the bottom. Let me grab my metal. Hi guys, how you doing? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line my paper up. If you don't have a grid, use your ruler. All right, so pull 1 inch up at the bottom. And then we're going to fold in our sides. So we know that this is 2 3/4 inches wide. So pick a spot anywhere. It doesn't matter. Okay. Pick a spot. We're going to go right here. Fold. And then we're going to go 2 3/4. And I think this started off at 6 inches. 2 3/4 inches from our fold. Which is right there. Fold. Yep. Fold and burnish. Fold and burnish. Fold and burnish. This is going to be our front, so that's where we're going to put our finger notch between our 2 folds. We're going to do a little bit of trimming at the back. Again, there's a whole video on this. We're going to come in, and then we're just going to remove this. Wedge and remove. Okay. Then we're going to bring this over. We're going to glue this part down. We're going to put a little bit of glue right here on the end. Glue here. And glue on this outside. Why? Because now when I fold this over, it's actually going to have 2 points of contact. Bring that in. Hey, that was pretty good. We almost lined those up perfectly. Hi, Margaret. All right, so now you have a basic, that's a quick basic 6x6. That's how you slam out a pad of 6x6 paper. Just find all your basic 6x6 pieces that are basic colored and slam them out. If you don't like this and you want that to go away, well, find something that you can cut and put in there, Cut a piece that's going to fit in there and glue it down so that it looks pretty. Okay? Simple and easy. All right, let's talk about these, because I love these. So for these, what you're going to want is book page, but you want thicker. This is what you can use, like those catalog type, the heavier pages. Let's see, what do we have? Well, we can use the onion. This is thicker paper, okay? So we're going to pull a piece out. This is not signature. This is a glue in. Kind of a pain in the butt. but it's the onion, you know.
Hey, this is Mike with Cox Business Support calling in reference to Cox ticket number.
Not a straight line, not even trying.
5158. This message is for Lenore. Just wanted to touch base with you.
There we go.
We ran that straight
Because we just want the paper.
And we only had 4 drops out of 17,280.
All right, so
Looked like there's an issue on the Cox equipment.
for this one, you don't really need to do this. I'm just going to straighten it up so you can all see, you know, how you would start. So you're going to start, you're going to have a regular piece of paper. And then you're going to randomly just tear. I don't tear anything.
0742. I thank you for using Cox Business Support. Have a fantastic day.
But you can use your tearing rulers or anything like that you have. What I'm going to use is this. So I'm going to tear this in half. Right about there. Ruler. Tear. So for that style of a pocket, where did I put it? Like this. You can use a tearing ruler. You can tear this by hand. It's entirely up to you. And tear a little bit off the top and a little bit off the bottom. This is literally like get one of your, get your frustrations out kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to tear it down to about the size that I want. And then I'm going to ink it. Inky, inky. And I have to tell you, this is literally one of my favorite pockets. Okay. Is that? Yeah, it is. Oh, Patty Hearst. Okay. Okay. Folding this over. Glue it down. Always glue down the small side. Don't put glue on the big side. Okay. Now, I kind of want this to be a little bit more. So just tear it off till I get it where I want it. Ink it here. Now I have this great little corner tuck pocket. And look at these scraps I have. I love those. Okay. So I have this little, this little pocket where I can tuck something in. I can put paper over this if I want to. Or I can just leave it the way that it is. Okay. But this is a great way to just like burn book pages, burn scrapbook paper. Just burn through it. That's another great one. Now, last but not the very least, what is that? Of course she can. Let me get some of this out of the way. We're going to get this guy out of the way because the next one we're going to talk about is the I don't want to build a pocket. Okay. This is the I don't want to build a pocket. And you can do this one a couple of different ways. The first way is an envelope. All right. So by envelope, I mean this, junk mail. Does it have to be junk mail? No, it does not. Just take any junk mail. If you want this window, use it. If you don't, don't. Look at that tiny little window. I have mine all sorted. Yes, I'm that type of personality. Which I really like are the ones with the big, big windows on the front, you know, like the big square windows. I don't get a lot of those, though. Sometimes. Okay, so I got this one. So we're going to make a pocket out of this. First things first, do not glue this envelope shut. Leave it open. Why? Because it makes it easier. Cut it off. Leave this here, which is about a 1/2 inch, give or take. See? That's going to help secure this. Don't get rid of that. That's good. So why did we leave that open? So we can get in here. Why? Because we need to. Why? Because, watch. See that? That's going to catch. So glue it down. Glue it the hell down. Okay? Now, if you want to decorate inside here, it's a whole lot easier to do. Oh, crap. We're going to go back into that pad again. I hate this pad. All right. We'll use that ugly piece. All right. So all I'm going to do is put this in here. Yeah, see? Now I have decorations. But how do I make sure I got the right size? Simple. Very simple. Put it on here. Get out your pencil that you have now lost in this pile of crap that you have on the side of your desk. Draw around it. Cut it off. Ooh, I hate this pad. I'm going to be so glad when it's done. I'm telling you, when it's done, I'm going to give this thing away. I am. When it's done, this thing goes bye-bye. All right. So now I have that. Do I need to ink this or anything like that? No, nobody's going to see that. Does it need to be all the way across? No. If you've got a piece that's narrow, but as long as it covers that window, go with it, babe. All right. So now we're going to put this in here. But we want to glue it to the back, not anywhere else. So, glue. And because the envelope is open, this makes it easier, okay? Put it in. Make sure you have it going in the right direction. Put it in, put that down, put some glue on your flap. Glue your flap. Now you have it glued on the inside. Now, a lot of people just go, well, you know, you can just like use pieces of paper to go around it. And I get that. You can do that if you want to. Absolutely. It is 100% your choice to do that. I, however, do not do that. I actually have patterns for all of my envelopes. But if you want to not do that, get out a piece of vellum. Get out a piece of deli paper or parchment. Put it right there on the edge. Get your pencil. Trace this window. Your envelope. Cut this. of that. Fold this. Now you can see through it. So you can hold it up to the light and you know exactly where your edges are. So you can match up your window. Hold it tight though, because this paper will move around. I now have a pattern that I can use to cut my paper for this envelope that I can use on every other envelope that's the same. Knock it off, you two.
Well, it's going to be here, pick me up around 2 to 3.
Okay. I'm going home, my bug. All right. Beautiful. Maybe take a shower.
I'm going to take a shower when I get home.
Okay. So now I have a pattern that will go on here. So I can decorate the front of this, glue it down, and I have an easy peasy pocket. Now, do I want to put my thumb pull right here? No. This one, I would actually recommend putting a thumb pull. If you're going to put a thumb pull in it, pull it off here and do it on the side. I didn't even go in there. Hold on. Do it on the side of this over here, which is kind of cute. If I want this to be a narrower pocket, just cut it and glue this part. Okay, so cut off the back and fold this around. I'll show you. Another envelope. All right, so we got this one. Let's say we want to use this, but we want it to be narrower, like here. All you have to do is cut this back part off where you want it to be. Use your scissors, use a trimmer, however you have to cut it. Take this off. And then fold it. Take off the excess. You don't need this crap. Put it in here and we'll make it straight. Watch. Oh, I cut that way too much. I should cut this part off. We'll do that again. Hold on. I am ready for it. Okay, so I'm going to cut off this back piece. Right about there. So I'm going to remove the back. You could open this at the bottom if you want to in order to do this. It's entirely up to you. I'm just really lazy and I don't like to do that. So I cut that part off. And then I'm going to cut off most of that. And then I'm going to fold this over. Glue. Trim off anything that I need to. How does this glue like dry up? I swear it's when we put the pin in it, the pin actually shoves air or something in there and causes it to do that. Bone folder. Now look at that pocket. Because it's a try to eat, right? So, and then you can make this as tall as you want. Now, that seems pretty easy, right? Like you could make a whole bunch of them. And now I have to put all of these in my stash. But there's an even easier way. You can go get these. These are sacks that you can get in most stationaries, most craft stores, most gift wrapping areas. And they sell them for a number of different things. They call them party sacks. They call them card sacks. This is a beautiful piece because like literally you get the whole width of this. And this is 3 1/4 inches. So it's a very nice wide piece. You can glue this in anywhere you want in your book. So that's a pre-made pocket that you can buy. These little paper sacks. These are so adorable. But the other one is like this. This is a seed packet. It's a blank seed packet. And maybe you want to make a pocket out of this. That's fine. There's a couple of ways. One, you could just fold this part down and tuck it in and have the whole thing be a pocket. just like that. Or you can chop it off anywhere you want. Now you have a pocket. Put a finger notch in here. Glue that down, little ink. You've got a perfect pocket. This also works with coin envelopes. But for coin envelopes, what I recommend is glue them shut on the open end. Right? And then cut them in half. Now you have two little pockets. Look, little pockets. Put tiny little finger notches in these. This probably won't even fit in here. No, it will. Okay. Look at that. Tiny little finger notches. Now I have two pockets. I haven't done any work except to cut this thing in half. And now I have two little pockets. And again, best part, you get the whole width of this. You don't have those glue lines on the sides, okay? So now I'm going to say, does anybody have any questions? Is there anything that you want more information on, or that you think I didn't cover, or maybe, you know, you'd like to see covered? Because I really want to make sure that we get this as complete as it possibly can be. So if there's something that you feel is missing, or you want to talk about it a little bit more, maybe you need some different ideas for pockets, let me know. Because you're going to be this week on your own making pockets. You can go and reference any one of my videos. You're going to find them in the ephemera playlist, in the ephemera and the tuck-ins. That's where they're going to be. Put in pocket, and hundreds of videos are going to come up. I have, I don't know, it's like something like 500 or 600 videos. I don't know how many videos I have. Let me see. How many videos do I have on my channel? It's a lot. It's a lot. All right, I have 2.6 thousand videos, okay? So if you go in here and you just put in pocket, this is the best part. Put in pocket and click go, and oh my God, the amount of videos that are going to come up for you with all different kinds of, you know, book page pockets, tucked pockets, flip pockets, secret pockets, all kinds of pockets. A circle pocket even, using, you know, dies to make pockets, using hole punches to make, you know, punches to make pockets. So all kinds of pockets and things that are going to come up for you. So do that, and find some pockets that you like. And a lot of them have in the video, they have that make ahead spot where they go stop here. So that's where you're going to want to stop. Unless you're just putting like a plain style of paper on it. So I'm going to tell you, when you go through your digital or whatever paper pad you're using, there's usually some pages in it that are like this, that are background, like the whole page. If you want to cut these down and use these on your pockets and tucks and stuff, then do that. Okay. You want to use this as your backgrounds for that type of stuff, do that. If it's something that, you know, you just like maybe you like this section, use it. Maybe you like this bird, use it. You can start to use your digital at this point to create your pockets to put your mats on and things, okay? Because that's where you're at. So if you have questions, you can email me or instant message me, however you contact me. By all means, if you have pocket dies and you have a die cutter, use them. Absolutely nothing in this class says that you have to use only the pockets and things that I've shown you. What I've shown you today is not anywhere near the number of pockets that you can make using the supplies that you have. There's probably, and I say it all the time, there's only so many ways you can fold a piece of paper. But for every way that you can fold a piece of paper, there's a different way to place it. Okay? So we've used these before where we've just used like one on a page, and then we've used them where we stagger them. I've used them where I put them like a ladder up and down on a page because we're stacking little tags in there. However it is that you want to use what you've got, what you know, and what we've seen today, use it. God, now I got to put that in the book. That too. All right, we're putting stuff in that book. So utilize what you have, and you don't have to just use my pockets, okay? You don't. If you go in and you see somebody else's pocket and their tutorial makes sense to you, freaking use it. I don't care. What I do care about is that you have fun doing this and that you are, you are exploring ways of doing things that maybe you didn't look at before, or you were like, if I try that, I'm going to screw that up. Because nobody likes to screw it up, you know? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one goes over here. This one, 11, 12, because we can stack this one either way. Book page, 13. Gusseted, 14. Angle, 15. 15 different pockets. We talked about the 3 basic belly bands. Let me get the clips off of those because that's dry now. Remember, if you just want to make them basic, just put the 2 pieces of cardstock together with the lace. You can put on the pretty stuff later. 3 different kinds of belly bands. And we talked about how to utilize each and every one of these as a tuck, because a tuck is really just a pocket depending upon which way you put it. So these are all the different things that we've done today. Even this piece that we took off of that envelope one, to be honest with you, if I wanted to make a tuck out of this, I could. Let's say I want to make a tuck. I want to add an extra pocket on here. I can actually take this and add it here and make this a stepped pocket. So you can have one in the back, this pocket here, and then another pocket down here. If I wanted to make it a tuck in, I could put it on the side of a page in the journal. So I can just take this and decorate it and put it like here or over in here and just leave this so that you can tuck stuff into it. So all of this has purpose, okay? These are all the basics of pockets. Oh, honey, this pocket doesn't care. He likes his life. Watch. Watch, watch, watch. He's going to be so happy here in a second. Watch. I'm going to make him a happy, happy pocket. Watch this. He's going to be so happy. Look at how happy he is now, Marjorie. Now he's a step pocket. And here's a fun thing. Combine these things. Put a small pocket like this onto one of these bigger pockets. Make it a double pocket. Maybe you have something like this that's small enough you can put on the front of this pocket. There's actually a pocket that does that. That wraps around. You can get that one. So you get all of these different flavors of pockets, okay? Like we showed with the envelope. You can get many different flavors of that envelope pocket to make it work for what you're looking for. Okay? I'm sending you this freaking pocket, lady. So you have all of these different kinds of pockets that you can play with. I'm hoping that this kind of gets the creative juices going and you're ready to start working. Remember that piece that we got rid of? That we said, you know, hold on to that, the one that went to this. All you got to do is close this and look, put some paper on it. You got another pocket. That's it, guys. That's all I'm going to be talking about today. Next week, make your pockets. Make your pockets this week, because next week we're going to start the ephemera phase. And that means a couple of things. You got homework. Make your pockets. That's homework assignment number 1. Let me get all these out. Make your pockets, make your belly bands. Just your bases. You don't have to worry about decorating, okay? So pick some pockets that you want to use and do them. That is a journal full of pockets right there. So next week, we are going to start ephemera. So homework assignment number 2. You're doing okay, Marie. Trust me, you got a whole week to process this. Homework assignment number 2. I want you to take your digital, if you have a digital. Now, obviously, if you're not working with a digital, you don't have to do this part, okay? But if you are working with a digital, I want you to take your digital and I want you to divide it up into 2 piles. And the biggest part of any digital is always this part, the ephemera, okay? So we're going to divide this into 2 piles. And then we're going to divide one of the piles into 2 piles. All right. So first we're going to pull all of our ephemera. So all of this is journaling cards. Pockets and journaling cards. More pockets. I hate when they do this because you're going to glue this part down. You're never going to see that part. I would probably skip on these pockets, to be honest. So be a little, you know, picky here. Going through all of this and cut it all out. Don't fussy cut. This is a banner. Just cut these. You know what I mean? Don't aggravate yourself trying to do this. If you have something like this where it's got like bumps around the outside and you don't have a way to cut that and you're just like, there's no way, don't cut it. If you don't want that piece, don't cut it out. But cut all of these pieces out. All right?
Hi, this is Mike. Fox Business Support. Calling you right now.
Put them in something.
8349. This message is
Put them in a box.
Henry. I was hoping to speak to you about this.
Put them in a tray.
I read the email that
Put them in a
you sent,
bag.
requesting that we
Put them in
other
one of these.
well, and review them.
Put them in an envelope. You want these all
But
separated.
one of the things that
Okay?
caught my eye was
My
that you were asking about
Advice to you is print all of this
if there's a way
on
for you to do
cardstock
that.
if you
Yes,
can.
it is.
If you have 100-pound paper, not 100-pound cardstock, 100-pound paper, try printing it all on 100-pound paper. It's going to give you a little bit more stability. You're going to cut all of these out. Then you're going to take your pages. And pages you can tell because they're divided down the middle. You're going to put those to the side because we're going to use those later. And these pieces are the ones that you're going to use for matting. Like this can be used. These are going to be for matting your pockets. Find the spots that you want to use to mat your pockets. Maybe you want him on a pocket. Maybe you want this on a pocket. Maybe you like this. Maybe you want to put this little guy on a pocket. Maybe you're doing a bottom pocket. You want this kind of, downward slope. Maybe, because this obviously is not going to be on a pocket. It's too big. So go through, pick the pages that you want to put on your pocket, use them, cut out your ephemera, put it in an envelope, and have it ready for next week. Because next week, we're going to start building that ephemera. That is above and beyond, Marjorie, but thank you. So next week, we're going to be making journal cards, tags, labels, clusters, page toppers, edges. We're going to be doing this over a 2-week course. You're going to need your designer paper or digital, some adhesive, cardstock for backing. Does this have to be fancy? No. If you've got little scraps like this will work because we're going to punch things out and cut, like little strips and stuff. Ink and a dauber, doilies. If you have doilies, maybe you want to use some doilies. We're going to have those. Punches or die shapes for your bases. So like I said, if you have a punch, that works. If this is all you have is a 1-inch circle, this is going to work. And if you don't have this, it's okay. We'll trim some out of paper with a trimmer. Doesn't matter. Get your laces, get your trims, get your washi tape out. Get out your little snippets. And by snippets, I mean these little pieces that are part of your ephemera set. So if you have like these little ones here, these little ones here, you don't want to cut those out because they got a scallop edge and you don't have, just punch them out with a circle cutter for the love of Pete. These little cut apart little guys, stickers that are these, if you have stickers that fit your theme, like these types of things, anything that's less than like 3 inches, these little banners would be used as your little bits and pieces, your little ephemera pieces. Grab all of those. Those are all your snippet type pieces. Any of the fussy cuts that are in there, any die cuts that you have that may fit your theme. Maybe, you're doing an ocean theme and you've got a bunch of mermaid die cuts. Use them. Maybe you are using, maybe you're doing Alice in Wonderland. You've got a bunch of, Mad Hatter cutouts or cards. Use them. Any stickers that you may have and anything else that you can think of. Literally, words and phrases, rub-ons that are in theme, paper that is the right color, sticker strips, whatever you have, okay? Get all of that out. Put it in a tub or a bin so you have it ready. Get your stuff cut out. Be ready for next week because next week we're going to have a freaking blast. We're going to make clusters. We're going to make journal cards. We're going to make tags. We're going to do all of it. And we're going to be doing it for 2 weeks, at least, possibly 3. If you guys want to keep going a 3rd week, we'll go a 3rd week. This is where you're going to get like your little bits out. You're going to get out your little word bags. Okay. All of this stuff is going to play in to next week. Okay. So get it all ready and prepped and have it to go. If you don't have extras, send me your theme. Let me know. I will try and mail you something and get it to you. If not before Saturday, it'll be there for the following week. Marjorie, you're an angel and I love you to death. My partner in crime. Get out of my head. She lives in there. I'm convinced of it. I think Marjorie and I are twins separated at birth. So get out. Like if you're like me, oh my God, here we go. And you do this, get this out. Get this out because this is going to play next week. Look at that. That's so Peter Rabbit, right? So it's going to play next week. We're going to get all of this stuff and we're going to play with every single piece of it. I'm going to add some stuff because look, I got paper from the Onion in here and I have some book pages that I tore up and I cut the strips off of them and I love book page strips. Oh my God, here, we got more. We're going to stick those in there. If you want to know why it's so tight, it's because I keep a bottle of glue in there upside down. I don't know why. Hey, that's what that lid's for. It's for the other one. Okay. So we'll put that in there. So get this out. All of these strips that you've been saving forever because I've been saying, just hold on to your strips. This is what it's for. Okay? So I don't care what your strips are. If you've got strips like this, not so much these, like plain paper, but anything that's like fancy schmancy. If it's a strip, and by strip I mean less than an inch, it goes in your strip bin. Keep that because we're going to play with it. Oh my God, you're gorgeous. Come here, get in here. I need you. Okay. I need you in my life. I need you in my life. Go in there. Okay. Oh yeah, you're definitely needed in my life. I'm dangerous. I really am. I have completely trashed my area today. I have thrown things everywhere. So, and if you have that random stupid piece of paper that, you were playing with and you put it through your paper crinkler, get that out too. Because, you never know. These I cut out for our space journal, our kitties on Mars, and I didn't use them. But you know what? If I cut this into strips, I can use it in my strip bin. But I'm not going to cut it into strips. I'm just going to put it in my other bin over there by my strip bin so that I know it's there. Book page. God, I love book page. Love book page. Love. Oh, I love this. It's just little colors on it. Cute. All right, we're putting that in there. I'm obsessed with strips.
I see that.
Okay.
Crinkle machines are fun.
And crinkle machines are fun, right? Okay, so we got all of that. I'm going to put this glue over there. It doesn't need to be in there. So we're going to be playing with all of that stuff next week. So it's going to be fun. Fun. So homework. Make some pockets. Stop at the stop point unless you have your digital and you know what you're going to be putting on them for matting and stuff. If you don't already have your digital, then, once you get it and you get it printed, then you can continue with that. And cut out all of your bits and pieces, okay? All of your ephemera pieces that came in your pack, all your cut aparts, all of your pocket things, all of your bookmark things. Cut all of those things out. All the little pieces that came in your digital kit, cut them out. Okay? Because we're going to play with them all next week. Make sure you have a hole punch, a circle punch next week. If you don't have a circle punch, that's okay. Because you know what? You can just cut little squares of paper. And by that, I mean like 1 inch by 1 inch squares. You can just cut an inch strip and start cutting it into inches, and that gives you a base to work on, okay? Also, if you want to use some muslin on this, and you're going to do some work in the muslin, and you want to have like that kind of thing, get that out. I'm going to teach you how to rag out muslin. So if you have a muslin strip that you want to use, or chiffon or something like that, get that out too. Whatever you can think of, get it out. Next week's fun. Okay, so that's going to do it for me today. So next week we will be back. Let me go ahead and take this one off the list. So next week we're going to start on ephemera. As I said, I have it scheduled for 2 weeks, but it could go to 3, just depending upon how it all works. All right. So now with that done, let's get on to the regular business of the channel real quick. I'm going to put this in here. Can't believe we've already done this. This is like 3 weeks. We're 3 weeks in. Tomorrow, I'll be back tonight for Mixed Media 27th at 6 o'clock. So 7, 8, 9 across the country. Tomorrow we'll have our regular game, and then there's a staggered coin envelope pocket on the 29th. Do I know exactly what that is? No, it's probably in the bin. I don't remember what it was. We'll look at it. What is the staggered? I'll look over here on the channel. I'll tell you if I remember it. Videos. I have to go to the studio for that. I can't look on my channel to see what's coming out tomorrow. Oh, it's a make-ahead. Staggered coin envelopes. Oh, yes. I remember this one. Do I have it? That is the question, isn't it? Because I've done a whole lot of shite lately. Nope, already out. I have already sent it out to somebody. Yep, it's already been sent out. It's a cute one though. But yeah, I've already sent that one out. So the video comes out on Monday. Also, we have on the 1st and the 15th of every month, I put out a Projects of 26 challenge. Challenge number 11 was an index. Can be an index card, a library, you know, a card catalog, any kind of card catalog card, any kind of punch card or anything like that. That's considered index. And foil, any kind of foil. Also, challenge number 12, which is a lunch bag or, you know, like a paper sack, and paste. It could be texture paste, moon paste, Nuvo paste, whatever kind of paste you want to use. Those are our 2 challenges going on this month. Also, I'm asking everybody if they would like to mail me, because women, we're into like true crime and mystery and all that stuff. So I'm asking you, how would you unalive somebody and get away with it? Send me kind of a statement of how you would do it and how you would get away with it. And we're going to read them on Friday Night Nuts and see if everybody can pick what each one is. We did one last night, and it was Arlene's. She's going to throw a guy with drunk on moonshine into a rattlesnake pit. Just go, wow, he fell in, huh? Okay. Also, I proposed this last night, and so we're going to talk about it very quickly. I'm going to make up a couple of signatures, and I would like to send those out. Empty, blank signatures. And have you do a page in a signature and then send it on to somebody else and have them do a page, and then they send it to somebody and eventually send them back to me so I can put them in an actual book. And don't just do the page, write something on it. Put in, I did laundry today. I hate folding sheets, whatever it is. I had a doctor's appointment today and they told me that, you know, what's been going on is getting better. Yay me. Whatever it is. For me, you know, my high point is I didn't have a migraine today. So, you know, but I want you guys to do that. Decorate a page in your style with whatever you think works for that page, whatever vision you have. And then, you know, write maybe a little something on it. And then send it off to the next person. Eventually they come back to me and I put them in a journal. Okay. If you want to participate, you need to email me that you want to participate in this and that you are giving me permission to give your address to the other participants. It's only people within this group, only the tribe. Okay. So we're going to be doing that. I am currently posting videos through November. We're going to go ahead and switch this just for a minute over to July. I know we're, you know, a couple of days shy, but next Saturday is Independence Day. It's the 4th of July. And so we're going to be doing mixed media. I may do it an hour later because, I mean, let's face it, the 4th of July really happens in the evening. So I may do it an hour later, which would be 7 my time, 8, 9, and 10 across the country. We're going to be doing a special edition, limited prompts, but they're all going to be patriotic. Okay. It's also my mom's birthday. Would have been her birthday. Yes, my mother was born on the 4th of freaking July. And for years, my grandfather had her convinced that the whole thing was about her. And he used to get the guys from down at the VFW band to stop right in front of her house and play I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy for her every year at the parade. Because it used to go right by their house. Yeah.
Big brain boy on 3rd.
And my big brain boy's birthday is the day before. They used to celebrate together. Every year, the two of them held up at her house, eating pork and beans out of a can and playing video games till all hours of the morning. I'm like, Mom, he's a growing boy. She's like, yeah, but he can play. Oh my God. And they were playing like first person shooter games that he should not play. And I would be like, Mom, why are you doing this? And she'd be like, no, we don't play those, do we? And Mikey'd be like, no, we don't.
No, of course not.
And then she died and she left him all her video games. And we went over there and they're all first person shooters. And we're like, really? And he's like, well, these aren't the ones we played.
Still looking out for her.
Still looking out for her.
No. We had other ones.
We had some other games. I don't know where these came from. Okay. So. All right, so that's going to do it for me. Tomorrow is the last day of the month for our not so family friendly feud. So if you want to come in and hang in for that, we would love to have you. Prize day is tomorrow, which is double prize day because you get your weekly prize plus the monthly prize tomorrow. That's it. That's all I have. So do me a favor, stay out of the rain or out of the sun or whatever the hell is going on in your part of the world. We don't know because Mother Nature has lost her freaking mind. She's menopausal. We know it.
He's coming home today.
I know. No grousing there, Karen. So all of that. Also, stay hydrated. And playing in the rain does not count as hydration, people. You must consume some form of liquid. Yes, coffee, tea, juice, water. It all counts. Okay? Unless it has a really high salt content, in which case then it's not. But that'll do it. I'm out of here. I love you guys. And I will see you tonight for Mixed Media. But until then, I love you. Bye-bye.